Long ago, all four nations lived in harmony, but everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Netflix is doing a big adaptation into turning into one of the world's most beloved animated series into a live action. This is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Will this be the quenchiest
or absolute cabbage?
Let's warp into the Cina-Verse of the Avatar: The Last Airbender Netflix edition.
Boomerang slice!
Welcome back into the Cina-Verse. We are your host. I am Nick and this is Luca.
And today we will look into the trailer of the new live action series Avatar: The Last Airbender and see what we might expect from the series.
The trailer itself does not give away that much. The story is basically the same as the animated series.
We get to see some scenery that we don't see in the animated series. So like, for example, within the trailer we actually see some scenes from the Air Nomad genocide, which is, pretty cool. If you look really close within the trailer, you can actually see some foreshadowing, which, teases slightly the eventual friendship between Aang and Zuko.
But one thing we don't see is the water tribe by the end of book 1.
Practically see everything from episode 1 when Katara and Sokka find Aang in the iceberg, all the way up adventures before they actually make it to the North Pole.
They were quite on point with the costume design, the plot, the bending, the visual effects. Everything that we see is almost identical to the animated series.
How different the live action is actually going to be from animated series. We all know that the original creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender left due to creative differences.
Let's look into the casting.
When it started to cast its characters, the number of Asian and Native American actors that were actually put into these roles. This isn't the first time that they tried to make a live action Avatar: The Last Airbender. We don't speak about that series. It is dead to us. Ethnical casting, and this is, in my opinion, superb. The series actually looks more interesting. It looks more
authentic than
mostly as well. That's the word I wanted to use. So thanks. Actors themselves, they are actually closer to the age of their characters. Gordon Cormier, he's 14 years old. Aang is 12.
Regarding age, the timeline might change in this series.
Yes,
because of the age, obviously. People age and they look older, especially when you're around 12, 15, 16. To be more authentic, extend the timeline. They might do it in 2-3 years.
This is something that they thought about. It's something that they have to deal with, because they're not going to...
You're dealing with human beings after all.
Yeah, exactly. Production takes time. They're dealing with relatively young actors. They had to include that the plot somehow. That is a change that I actually liked. Something that I didn't find really realistic from the animated series. Yeah. All the journeys in 1 year, it didn't feel as though it was as real. I think it was an important, step they had to take. We see the characters grow, mature from kids to practically young adults.
Off to the visual effects. It blends in so well.
You can make it look as real as possible, and I think that's what they did here. Appa, Momo, I think they look great.
Yeah.
But a very special reference, I think, to Heibai. From the trailer, he looks dope. If you really zoom up on him, you can see the... What? It's so funny. It's so funny.
Are you going to zoom?
What? You can.
As in, yes, you can.
Forget him.
I would also say regarding the bending, when you say real, it flew with the movements of the actor, especially the bending. The visual effects are very coherent to everything else.
Practically, I really enjoy the airbending and the firebending.
It
looked really cool. The waterbending, 50-50 on it, and when I see it,
maybe in the series,
it's just 2 minutes and 38 or it will just look better. I don't know.
It's just 2 minutes and 38 seconds. And finally, the soundtrack. When they do adaptations, they don't use the original soundtrack, and that pisses me off. Okay, it's like you're doing an adaptation. The music has to come in. I'm not saying identical. It's a remaster. It's good. They used the original soundtrack, just remastered it. They took a lot of elements, original animated series, and they applied it to this series.
Cue the Avatar soundtrack.
So that's it for this video. The Avatar, The Last Airbender, Netflix live action. I think it's going to be great. I think we have finally one great adaptation.
When you take a series, an animated series like Avatar, The Last Airbender, and it's growing by the year, a new young fan base enjoying it as well, you can't afford to get it wrong.
There's been great trailers and great series. You never know. From what we've seen, it's great. Series. Okay, sorry about that. It's a mistake. It's grammar. It's grammar Nazi.
These bastards.
Wait, how did I start this again? That was it from us. We are your hosts, Nick, Luca.
And we will see you at the next evening news.
Now for the weather.